In the headlines, an update on government's cybersecurity plan. A major effort to reduce the import bill for sheep meat. Health officials conducting a survey of the health of the nation. And in sports, SMS and college take top honors in BSAC's Blackman and Williams Zone.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening to you and welcome. I'm Tisha Hines with the details to the news. Government is in the final stages of introducing state-of-the-art technology in an effort to ramp up its cybersecurity capacity. Speaking to CBC News, Minister of Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology, Senator Jonathan Reed, says the process involves upgrading all equipment, among other things.
Of course, we're going through a much more extensive and detailed process of significantly increasing our cybersecurity capacity, and we're going through the process of final procurement. We are going through the process of hirings and setting up. We are in very advanced stages of significantly expanding our capacity in cybersecurity with some of the best resources that we can find anywhere in the world. We're doing significant investment and upgrades. All of that we are in motion, and in very short time we're able to report a very significant advancement in all these things to the country.
Barbados can generate about $24 million from lamb from the black-belly sheep. Consultant in the Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Leroy McLean, says they're on a drive to reduce the $14 million import bill of meat from sheep, with a focus to eliminate it altogether. This is all part of a local program to increase black-belly sheep on the island. Rachel Agard has that story.
Over a 6-year period, Barbados has imported on average 1.3 million kilos of sheep products from New Zealand. Consultant in the Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Leroy McLean, says farmers need to be in a position to take full advantage of that market. He suspects since the start of the program, that number has increased.
But in addition to the meat that we're importing, when we add what is locally produced, and when we did this exercise about 2 years ago, when we combined the local production with the imports, there's a retail market of over $24 million for lamb in Barbados.
Dr. McLean says farmers need to be given the resources for the development of the industry. Already, they have begun to make sheep feed from agricultural waste and pelletized hay for use in the dry season.
The pillars of the industry will be good housing, good fodder or hay, as well as feed at a reasonable cost. Because when we look at the cost of feed, farmers cannot really rear sheep in the way that would give them a good return at the commercial, based on the price of the commercial feed.
Small sheep farmer Rochelle Hunt Yearwood says she started rearing sheep during the COVID-19 pandemic with 3 ewes.
The main reasons I came to the program today is to learn more about the black-belly sheep sector and also to learn how to expand and utilize the knowledge that they have. I so far learned about palleting using the grass and other byproducts of vegetables. And that is very important and interesting, especially in the dry season and when there's food shortages for the sheep.
Meanwhile, Kyron Rice says it's extremely expensive to produce local lamb. He adds local supermarkets sell more lamb from New Zealand.
I think you have to have a discussion with the supermarkets and put legislation in place where at least all the supermarkets are forced to buy a certain amount of local produce. Instead of allowing them to just import.
Barbadians interested in the program are asked to reach out to the ministry. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Minister of Energy and Business Senator Lisa Cummins has described as incorrect and misleading suggestions the Mia Amor-Maudsley administration has objected to the functioning of the Public Accounts Committee, PAC. She was speaking today as debate continued on the appropriations bill in the Upper House. Our Wendy Burke joins us now live with more details. Good night to you, Wendy.
Good evening to you, Tisha. Senator Cummins, the leader of government business, updated the Upper House on minutes of meetings of the PAC dating from 2018 to 2024. Those minutes were then made a document of the House. She says the chairman of the PAC is the leader of the opposition. Senator Cummins has also clarified discussions surrounding the Home Ownership Providing Energy HOPE program and the PAC.
The matter which has been referred to in the public domain, which is the HOPE report, was not then, on the first occasion of our meeting on June 3rd, 2024, as it is not now laid before this Parliament and therefore cannot be considered by the PAC. The government was very clear as well in those meetings that we had no objection once the report was laid that it would be considered by the PAC as a properly laid and presented document of this chamber.
Opposition Senator Andre Worrell suggests there were several shortcomings in the recent budget that impacts its effectiveness. He says there was insufficient relief to reduce the cost of living for Barbadians.
It did absolutely nothing to deal with the cost of living in Barbados, so that when you go to the supermarket at the end of the month, you will probably be paying the same thing or even more. And to add to it, when you receive your paycheck at the end of April, you receive less in your pocket because of the resilience tax, which will now be increased from 0.1% to 2.25%, and then the employers also have to foot a portion of that as well. So this government is not doing anything to reduce the cost of living in Barbados, which bothers mothers, which bothers every single household in Barbados the most.
However, Government Senator Gregory Nichols has defended the budget presentation, saying it seeks to ensure the island can withstand the level of a readjustment occurring globally.
This capitalism cycle is coming to an end. The settlement that occurred in the mid-20th century after World War II has now exhausted. It's bursting at the seams, and we are seeing a resort to inward economic and military interests by the great powers of the world. We're seeing the rise of the billionaire class who have doubled their wealth since 2020. And their interests have now become the interests of the most powerful nations in the world. We are now, Mr. President, the slaves to the technology owned by the Bezoses, the Zuckerbergs, and the Musks of the world.
Independent Senator Christopher Maynard has focused on the state of public dental care in Barbados. He's described it as an unhealthy situation.
That is, sir, not good. So I urge the government to reactivate its dental program that it had. If you can find dentists who are willing to work in the public sector, I know that has been a problem, and I'm not about to bash the dentists on government's behalf, but I really should. But we need to find persons who will work in the public sector, provide dental care in the public sector, and help those who really need it.
A government senator, meanwhile, says he's shocked at Leader of the Opposition, Ralph Thorne's defense of the Barbados Secondary School entrance examination and a call for it not to be abolished. Minister of Educational Transformation, Senator Chad Blackman, is asking whether the Leader of the Opposition has shared his views with the members of his party.
And I want to quote, Mr. President, the Leader of the Opposition, he quote, "The child who failed the 11+ was always failing. I repeat, the leader of the opposition of this country said the child who failed the 11 plus was always failing. Mr. President, I want to know if the leader of the opposition shares those views to his members who he also has selected as part of his 15, his initial 15. Because I'm sure there are members on that side, and I heard of the voice notes being circulated about the displeasure that they've expressed. How can you be saying this? And a lot of us went to the North secondary schools, Mr. President. But now I understand why Senator Walters also indicated that he was not going to walk in Swan Street behind an opposition leader that can share that view.
The appropriations bill was passed. Tisha, that's it from the upper chamber.
Thank you so much, Wendy. Well, coming up, the firebug strikes, destroying a house in Christchurch. A fire has destroyed a two-bedroom wooden structure at Kendall Hill, Christchurch. Police officers and fire officials were alerted about the blaze just after 9 o'clock this morning. A team under the command of Station Officer Wayne Vaughan responded from the Worthing Fire Station. According to officials, the insured structure was occupied by Jonathan Went and is owned by a relative who resides overseas. Investigations into the fire are continuing. A second man has been charged with the murder of Ver Hoyt on January 9th. He is 33-year-old Rishan Robert Walrand of Backivy, St. Michael. Hoyt, 30, of Isolation Road, Belle Plaine, St. Andrew, was shot dead about 5 p.m. at Checker Hall Crossroads in St. Lucie. Walrand has also been charged with the illegal use of a firearm and endangering the life of Omar Hamilton, all on the same date. He was further charged with aggravated robbery of Lazar's jewelry on February 19th. According to a statement issued by police, Walrand appeared before Magistrate Wayne Clark in the District E Whole Town Magistrate Court today, where he was not required to plead to the indictable offences. He is scheduled to reappear on April 14th. Meanwhile, police at District A Police Station are conducting investigations into a report of a gunshots at Smith Road, Pineland, St. Michael. In a statement, Police Communications and Public Affairs Officer Inspector Ryan Brathwaite says officers responded to a report received about 2:07 a.m. Following investigations, officers found one house damaged and a female occupant with swelling to her face as a result of a fragment falling on her. Police are appealing to anyone who may have witnessed the incident or with information to contact Crime Stoppers at 1-800-8477, Police Emergency at 211, or the District A Police Station at 430-7242 or 430-7246. Government will be embarking on a major study that will reveal the overall health and well-being of the nation's population. Minister of State in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Davidson Ishmael, says a Health of the Nation survey will be conducted this year. He made the announcement while addressing the 3rd Nutrition Conference hosted by the National Nutrition Center under the theme Unpacking the Economics of Healthy Diets and Sustainable Agriculture.
The last Health of the Nation survey was done in 2015, and therefore to effectively map and understand trends in obesity and NCDs, it is important to collect and analyze data on dietary habits, nutritional status in particular. On a positive note, I am pleased to share that the George Allen Chronic Disease Research Center is expected to commence during the course of this year a Health of the Nation survey during 2025. This evidence-based approach enables the development of more targeted interventions, policies, and programs that address the specific needs of communities, ensuring resources are allocated efficiently and effectively to combat health issues and promote our well-being.
Minister Ishmael adds nutrition research and surveillance are vital tools in fostering a healthier population and guiding meaningful public health strategies.
Therefore, the Center's mission transcends mere awareness. It aims to foster a culture of health that integrates nutrition into the very fabric of our daily lives, transforming how we think about food and its impact on our well-being. To realize this vision, we must continue to engage our stakeholders. Grassroots efforts that involve local partners, including civil society organizations and health professionals, are essential to creating effective local solutions.
The Caribbean Development Bank's largest pool of concessional resources has been significantly boosted. President Daniel Best says this will help the institution play an even greater role in addressing poverty alleviation and human development across borrowing member states. Mr. Best says after more than a year of discussions, contributors to the bank have approved an historic US $460 million for the 11th cycle of the Special Development Fund. Speaking at the bank's annual news conference, he said the program comprises grants and concessional loans.
This 11th cycle covers the period from 2025 to 2028 and aims to boost environmental resilience, with at least 35% of resources targeted towards climate financing. This will support adaptation and mitigation projects, post-disaster interventions, disaster risk management, and biodiversity preservation. Production resilience, to strengthen private sector development and improve economic infrastructure. Social resilience, to enhance educational outcomes and social protection systems. And on this, in recognition of Haiti's unique challenges, we will increase our support to them to maximize development impact and foster long-term resilience.
Mr. Best says this program, along with the bank's other resources, will be critical in supporting the vision of rebirth for the institution.
The vision rests on three main pillars: innovate, transform, and thrive. By innovating in our sectors of engagement, we will pioneer cutting-edge solutions and leverage new technologies to address complex development challenges. The transformation pillar is internal to the bank. It speaks fundamentally to reshaping processes and systems to enhance efficiency, inclusivity, and sustainability. And by thinking differently about how we approach development problems, by relooking how we organize ourselves to deliver, we are able to contribute to a thriving region.
Meanwhile, Director of Economics Ian Durant says Barbados and its regional counterparts are experiencing an easing of inflation.
However, price levels remain elevated compared with pre-pandemic times, leading several governments to maintain cost of living support measures introduced in prior years. Additionally, unemployment rates continue to decline across most borrowing member countries for which data is available.
Sports is just ahead. Well, we were all glued to our sets today because it's BSAC time. Anne-Marie Burke is here to tell us more. Hey, Anne-Marie.
Hi, Tisha. Yes, the first zone has been settled as the St. Michael's School girls and Harrison College boys ran away with the honors, where the Frank Blackman and Shade Williams zone of the Powerade Dasani BSAC Championships was completed today. On the final day at the Usain Bolt Sports Complex, SMS won the girls with a whopping 495.5 points, 171.5 ahead of second place Harrison College, who had 324, and Queen's College 288. The boys' race was a bit tighter, with 8C holding off the Lodge School by 10.5 points, with 347 to Lodge's 336.5, while the SMS got 287. Here's a look at some of the day's action.
Why not start with a record run? It was the third event of the final day of the Frank Blackman and Shade Williams zone. The junior girls 1,500 meters, and the early stages, everyone held good form. That then turned into a solo run with at least 100 meters lead on the others. Layla McIntyre of Harrison College is now her and the clock, chasing the 9-year record of 5 minutes, 13.48 seconds. Could she beat it? Oh yes, that she did. It was gone with the wind. The new record now stands at 5 minutes 02.49 seconds, already a CRIFTA qualifier. She's maintained that time and remains in good nick. From distance to sprints, under 13s are your fastest girl on the inside. Oh yes, that's the blue and aquamarine of Alexandra School, Kaylia Kerwin. She had them done and dusted in 14.25 seconds. The turn of the boys, and here come your fastest two side by side. A ding-dong battle from start to finish between Queen's College's Naeem Simmons and Mackay Greenwich of St. Michael's School. Who will get there first? It'll be Greenwich ahead of Simmons. The times 13.58 and 13.71. Up to the under-15s are your fastest girl hails from Husbands. Look at the red ribbons of Taylor Ray Wiggins. She will come through in 12.88 seconds ahead of St. Michael's School's Zuri Guy, who ended third overall with 13.08. And take note of this name. Cast your eyes to lane number 3 in the red and yellow of Darrell Jordan. That's Raquel Griffith. He'll slam the field. He's like a freight train. Cross the line in 11.68 seconds. The zone record of 11.68 is demolished. What a record run. Let's look at how the senior divisions conquered the 200 meters. Coming out as fast and furious, the under-17 girls off the turn. And it was a battle of the Jazaras, Levine of the St. Michael's School, and Innes of Queen's College. It would go down to the line. Levine over Innes. The times 25.80 seconds and 25.87. Taking the boys' race off the bend with Law School's Nathan Cumberbatch ejected through a false start. The door was left wide open, and seizing the opportunity on the inside is Jacoby Brown Smith, Harrison College. He's your winner. Fastest time is 22.61 seconds. Remember, these are the 200s, and the under 20 girls covered the first 100 in no time. So here we go. All the running on the outside, and with 100 to go, Kayla Hines changed gears, and it was all over. Queen's College's star girl delivered just ahead of the SMF's Erin Pinder. Those times 25.61 and 25.98. And it was no need to wait for the next two heats as the Courage and Paris Mackay King made up the stagger early, came off the bend flying, straightened up, engaged the extra nos, and while Amari Ford of Harrison College put up a late challenge, it was King to take it. The times 22.40 and 22.42. That's a wrap on the Frank Blackman and Shade Williams zone.
Tomorrow will see the start of the estimated Shane Brathwaite zone, which features defending boys and girls champions, the Combermere School. CBC TV8 will again have live coverage from 9:30 a.m. KFC Deacons kept their focus on winning both the men's and women's crowns when the Goddard Enterprises Limited Division 1 League action continued at the Wildy Gym. Here's a look at some of the games.
Serving off with ladies action where Deacons had dropped the second set to Foundation United, but were back in command, having taken the third and looking to close out this fourth. Here comes veteran Julian Lewis with a power spike down through midcourt. Deacons with the serve, it's picked up nicely. Foundation set up for the play, but it's saved on the other end. Can Deacons now do it some justice? Lewis again, nothing but power. That play then backed up with this ace. Foundation caught sleeping. And so Deacons will go on to take the win at 25-17, 18-25, 25-7, 25-19. The former Queens are looking good this season. The other ladies' game saw Hill Road in the sky blue and purple taking on Carlton, with Hill Road having taken the first two sets at 25-16, 25-22. So this is the third, one of the longer rallies, as both teams fought to keep the ball in play. Carlton looking to set it up now, but the block comes at the net and sees Hill Road winning the point. But revenge will be gained on the very next play. The dink leaves Hill Road scrambling. They then backed it up with an ace. But in the full scope of things, it was Hill Road who were the ones inching closer to 25. And it's set at match point. Carlton serves, and it's a disaster. With that, Hill Road took the final set at 25-19. And it was a demolition job as Deacons in the green steamrolled Progressive in straight sets. It was the lone men's game on the night, and it was so lopsided that the final score was 25-9, 25-8, 25-7.
And that's it for our first look at sports. When I return, we have two federations having a new home. So back to you, Tisha.
Okay, thank you so much. I don't think it's a good idea for me to watch sports when I have to read at night.
Why?
I'm sure you know why.
Too much in it.
Absolutely, it's fun. So coming up next, the business report. Stay with us.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
The Caribbean Development Bank has been engaging in discussions with CARICOM agencies as the Donald Trump administration announces it will be terminating thousands of U.S. aid, foreign assistance grants and programs. That's according to President Daniel Best, who says there's approximately U.S. $280 million in undisbursed obligations to the Caribbean from U.S. funding. He says 80% of this is to go toward Haiti, which is battling a deepening crisis. Mr. Best was speaking during the bank's annual news conference.
And the fact that the United States is not a member of the Caribbean Development Bank or doesn't contribute to our funds is cold comfort, because we are of the Caribbean and we have a mandate to support the Caribbean. So what are we doing to respond to this? Well, firstly, we have already convened meetings with CARICOM agencies that are being directly impacted, such as SEDEMA, the OECS Secretariat, and others that are being directly impacted, to seek to determine which space CDB could respond better in. One that concerns me greatly, of course, is the matter of early warning systems and the technical support we get. Ms. Isaac mentioned it in her speech. Resilience is not just about funding, it's about impact. And we have within the bank the technical expertise to support in areas where there will be a gap in the United States support.
There's a market for sheep hides. Consultant with the Ministry for Agriculture, Dr. Leroy McLean, says if you visit any local abattoir, the hides are discarded. He says experts say sheep like the black belly produce high-quality leather, but he notes it cannot be developed unless numbers are increased and production is at a significant level.
Some years ago, when I was in another position, I sent some black belly sheep hides to Canada to be processed into leather. And the report from the tannery was that it was the best leather they had ever worked with. We would have to put ourselves in a position that we can utilize this resource that we have.
It's time now to take a look at how stocks performed locally and regionally today.
In Jamaica, JMMB Group Limited 7.35% cumulative redeemable preference share with 2,380,704 units was the volume leader, followed by Trans Jamaican Highway Limited and Victon Energy Limited. In Trinidad and Tobago, JMMB Group Limited was the volume leader with 38,169 shares changing hands for a value of Trinidad and Tobago $42,158.99, followed by National Enterprises Limited. And here in Barbados, West India Biscuit Company Limited was the volume leader, trading 1,013 shares at Barbados $35 each, and they were followed by Goddard Enterprises Limited and the Cave Shepherd and Company Limited.
Carrie Ann O'Neill is standing by with weather. Time now for weather with Carrie Ann O'Neill. Carrie Ann, good evening to you.
Good evening to you, Tisha, and good evening, everyone. The ridge pattern was our dominant feature today. As a result, we had dry and stable conditions. The winds across the region, they are light to moderate, that's calm to moderate at this time, and a trough system maintained very wet conditions across the Guianas. The maximum temperature today was 30 degrees Celsius, the minimum 25 degrees. At present, the temperature stands at 27 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity 80%. The winds are coming in from the southeast. We take a look now at some atmospheric conditions across the region, where the temperatures are ranging from 25 to 28 degrees Celsius. The humidity shows moisture is building across the southern islands, and those winds are calm to moderate across the region. We take a look now at our satellite feed, where the ridge pattern was the dominant feature today. As a result, we had dry and stable conditions. Mostly fair skies prevailed here in Barbados. Now, similar weather conditions also prevailed across the Windward Islands. The winds, they are peaking at 14 knots for us here in Barbados. The seas smooth to moderate in open water, with swells peaking at 2 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution, especially along the western coastlines. Later on tonight, the ridge will continue to dominate. We are expecting, well, partly cloudy skies along with just a few light showers. Further south, a trough system maintained cloudy skies, showers, rain and isolated thunderstorms across the Guianas. Over now in the Western Caribbean, there is a dry trough system maintaining dry and stable conditions across most of the islands. Well, that's our first look at the weather. After the break, we'll have the forecast. Welcome back. In the forecast for tomorrow, the sun is expected to rise at 2 minutes after 6 and will set at 9 minutes past 6. The first high tide is expected at 6:32 in the early morning and the first low at 15 minutes past midnight. The seas smooth to moderate in open water with swells peaking at 2 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution along the western coastlines. Now the winds, they're coming in from the east to the southeast up to 35 kilometers per hour. For us here in Barbados tonight, the ridge pattern will continue to dominate. We are expecting partly cloudy skies along with just a few light showers. And over the next 3 days, partly sunny skies along with only a few passing showers can be expected.
Well, Anne-Marie is back, so it's time for a second look at sports.
Yes, Tisha, and 2 local sports federations will soon have a new facility to call their home. CBC's Almar Goodrich Boyce has the details.
The next generation of local badminton and squash players will now have their own facility with a primary focus on training, and it will be located right here at the Garfield Sobers Sports Complex.
This is an artist's impression of what the completed training center will look like. And according to officials, the shared venue is set to be constructed to the tune of $4.5 million and is expected to be finished by the last quarter of next year. During a historic groundbreaking ceremony, Minister of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment Charles Griffith said it's another part of government's plans to continue developing sports in Barbados.
I really welcome this. We need to have facilities for as many of our disciplines as possible. And the truth is that government is pouring from a single cup, so we cannot build a facility for every single discipline that is on island. So as far as possible, what we will try to do is to do exactly this. Multidiscipline facilities that we can have 2 or 3 different disciplines at a particular location. I want for you guys to take care of the facility. Like I said, $4.5 million is what is being invested. And I'm sure that at the end of the day, both NFs and me will have the type of results that we're looking for on island in terms of developing our youngsters.
President of the Barbados Squash Association, Craig Archer, provided an insight into the courts.
The squash facility has been designed to accommodate 3 back-to-back courts, which will be side by side, and one bank of those 3 courts will have movable walls, which enable 3 singles courts to be converted into 2 doubles courts. That's a really big deal for us as well.
Meantime, President of the Barbados Badminton Association, Kevin Wood, said the new facility will benefit his sport big time.
This is the step in the right direction for badminton. The future is bright. It allows us to open more programs for the schools, programs for our para athletes, programs for our national athletes, and training camps, so we can tap into that sports tourism market. So there's a lot that will be coming out of this home for the sport of badminton.
The facility will feature 6 courts for each sport, changing rooms, bathrooms, office spaces, and a small conference area. It will also have the capacity to host local and regional tournaments for both disciplines. And Mark Goodrich Boyce, CBC Sports.
Stuart Maloney was awarded the Champion Driver of 2024, along with the four-wheel drive and FIA R5 titles, when champions were celebrated for their achievements at the Barbados Rally Club's annual prize giving at Savvy on the Bay recently. In Maloney's absence, the trophies were accepted on his behalf by Jamaica's Jeff Panton. Rhett Watson won the two-wheel drive championship as well as the super modified class 2. Group B champion was Shadane Holder, and he was Rookie of the Year, while Kaylee Catwell, Emily Kinch and Nataya Sudeen were rewarded in the female co-driver and driver categories after a season in which a record 24 females started Rally Barbados. Michelle King, the manager of Motorsport Services, which deals with entry and logistics issues on behalf of All Island Motorsport, received a standing ovation when she was presented with the Richard Royd Memorial Trophy for services to the sport. Simon Parvicino and Andrew Croney were crowned the champion driver and navigator respectively in the Chauffette Mud Dog Safari Championship, while George Mendez and Leslie Evanson are the Class B champions. Evanson was also the highest placed female navigator, while Rebecca Clark won the trophy for the highest placed female driver. In autocross, Stephen Nichols also claimed a second champion driver's title, while Callum Curtin was junior champion. David Anthony Balgome won the Motoring News rookie title, and Cheryl Ann Hurley was the ladies' champion. Well, Dominic Howard won Category 1 of the Barbados Cycling Union's third race day at the Bushy Park Circuit over the weekend. Howard beat out his Bike Caribbean teammate Russell Elcott into second in the 10-kilometer per lap route, while Liam Hutchison of Century Glasesco finished in third. Daniel Hines, also of Bike Caribbean, took the ladies' Category 1 division, having been the only rider in that section. Jonah Kelly from Century Glasesco won the men's Category 2 division, while his teammate Daniel Staffner won Category 3. The men's Category 4 went to Zinzele Renwick Williams from Team Sonics 246. Independent women's rider Alexis Lashley won the ladies' Category 2, while the youth champion was Yele Renwick Williams of Team Sonics 246. The Masters 50 Plus was won by independent rider Gregory Austin, while Sedwin Jones from Team Sonics 246 took the Masters 60 Plus division. The next Barbados Cycling Union race day will be held at the Mighty Grinder Highway for the first Criterium Championship. And Tisha, that's it for sports. So back over to you.
Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. I know you'll be there for certain. Common Mayor will be on the track.
Oh yes, I will be there.
Well, we have more coming up. Do stay with us. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.